Well, I believe in good vibrations is what creates a beautiful nation. All you need is the will to do right, do right, do right.
Hi, and welcome to a brand new episode of Anecdotally. You had one job. I don't want to hear it. That our one job is starting on time. That's a completely different story. I am your host, Jay Fry, and with me, as usually, is Sean. How's it going, Sean?
Good, and I just need to say that I'm trying to, tone down my whiteness, and punctuality is a negative white trait. So there's that.
Shit.
Shit. Jive-ass turkeys ain't got no brains anyhow.
Oh, God. I love airplane. What you talking about, Mama? Like, job ass shit. Don't talk to me like that. Was that Florence Henderson?
Yep.
God,
No, it was the mom from Leave It to Beaver, I believe.
Well,
It wasn't Florence Henderson. It was the one from Leave It to Beaver.
same fucking difference, really. All right, anyway. Hey, Garrick, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going, guys? How y'all doing
That's
today?
enough out of you. Go to bed. So we've we're about to talk shit for an hour about women who didn't win but still ran their mouths when we're running our mouths and we didn't even start on time. The one goal we have for any particular stream that we failed to accomplish.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I guess we'll be doing this from the left today because without double standards, they wouldn't have any standards at all.
Correct. Just yeah, if you get to jawjack when you're the best. If you are not the best, your jawjacking lacks any teeth, and you deserve to be ridiculed.
Mm-hmm. But to me, it's starting to seem like if you know you're not the best, if you make a big enough statement, they'll still talk about you.
Right.
Which is what we'll be seeing from like Gwen Berry.
Oh, I'm sure.
And we also saw it from Team USA fencing team, who all stood out against their alternate, who is accused of some sort of sexual fuckery. But nothing concrete. Nothing's came out for serious. Nothing that would keep him out of the Olympics. But the three main guys who were competing were against the fourth guy who was competing, and they all lost. Didn't even get the alternative position because they sucked out loud. Now, that is, again, the best in the world. I can't compete with that, which is a fair assumption. And fencers can't do what I do, which is not fence, and they can fence, so fuck them.
Well, again, it goes down to they are the elite of the elite, supposedly. They literally have one job, and that's to be the best at the particular thing that they decided that they want to do. That's the only thing they need to do, and they're not getting that done.
Now, let me be clear. I am not an Olympic athlete. Didn't know if you guys were aware of that or not. However, in my field, I'm actually pretty close to the top. Not that there's a lot. I mean, there's only in reality, 200 of us in total across the United States, and I'm probably top 10. Not the most educated, not the fastest, but overall, I'll fucking beat your shit. We've been tested. Not last year, but the year before. I'll wreck you. But besides from that, we've got as a layman, again, somebody who is not an Olympian, if you're, say, a weightlifter and you want to go to the Olympics and the starting weight that you have to put up over your head is 120 kilograms. And then everybody puts up 120 kilograms. Then you move to increments of 5, 125 kilograms, 130, 135. Shouldn't you, I don't know, be able to lift 120 kilograms before you get there?
Yeah.
Asking for, the world.
Yeah. You should clear the minimum bar with ease.
Yeah.
The only exception would be like the Jamaican bobsled team. You don't expect them to be contenders. You don't expect them to be world class. But the fact that they meet the minimum to qualify, you expect them to do at least that. So if you're representing a country that's not known for a sport, say Nigerian hockey.
Oh my God.
You should at least be able to clear the minimum bar.
Yeah.
To perform for the crowd.
To be fair, this is an actual real life story. It's there's a movie based on it called Cool Runnings. There was a Canadian Olympic bobsled coach who said that his theory behind bobsledding would be, if you could, it's the opposite of what happened in Armageddon. Like Armageddon had trained drillers to become astronauts instead of training astronauts to become drillers. They, for the entire length of luge and bobsled, had been picking the best of the luge and bobsledders. And this man came up with a theory that you put track stars in their position instead. Fast people who could get off the block, hauling the bobsled for the 40 yards before jumping in, it would give you a preemptive start, a faster get to your going. And everybody in luge and bobsled said it's ridiculous to think you could train somebody to that level, which really is team leaning, almost in a very sort of simplification of what bobsled is aerodynamically leaning together like assholes.
Mm-hmm.
When he was basically failed to meet Olympic standards and was flushed out of the system, for some fucking reason, he goes down to Jamaica to woe his sorrows away. And fucking Dougie Doug and a group of Jamaican runners find him, and in like 1976 or 77, no, probably earlier than that, they came to the conclusion, hey, let's try this. And in the early 80s, there was an Olympic bobsled team from Jamaica, the only one, so kind of easy to get in. Again, it's like the Barbados curling team. It doesn't take a lot to get on the ticket if you're the only ones doing it in that particular country.
Correct.
But fuck, I love John Candy. Like Uncle Buck, like a depressed John Candy, is still goddamn hilarious. Anyway, they're sadly, instead of finishing in anything remotely like any kind of place, they the bobsled came apart, and they got royally fucked up at setting the fastest pace to date. Like, they would have been something good, but they did royally fuck themselves. Bobsled came apart, and they crashed the fuck up. If I'm not mistaken, one actually died of his injuries, even though that wasn't in the movie. But yeah, so for like a minute there, Jamaica had a bobsled team. And John Candy was their coach.
In the movie.
I don't think that part was in real life, though.
Yeah, no, that was just the movie.
Well, he is Canadian.
True.
How hard could coaching a bobsled team really be?
I have no idea. I live
All
in the
right.
desert, and bobsled is not something we do here.
Don't you
We
have a
get
hockey team?
we do.
Yeah, shut up.
We barely have hockey, and that is expensive as hell here. I mean,
Look at that.
I had Hud in hockey when he was a peewee. He just never took to it, but it's an expensive sport in the desert.
It's a shitty sport, period.
I disagree. I think it's the
What is it,
best
like
sport.
5 a.m.? Oh, no. I meant to be a school-age child playing it. It's like, isn't it before school practices?
No, it was after school. It was recreational, more or less. And he was.
Did they have?
I mean, he didn't make a team. They just had. He was basically running drills the entire time. And by the time it got competitive, he just wasn't competitive, so he just dropped out.
Here, well, not here, but in Michigan, you get up at 4 a.m. and you practice 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock before you get on the bus to go to school.
Yeah.
There was no designated rink. You know, you had to use a loaner rink. I don't know what they call it. But I mean, it'd be the same thing for like.
They have like 5 ice dens here in the valley, and each ice den has 2, sometimes 3. I don't know what you want to call them, sheets of ice. They're basically all set up for hockey. They're all lined for hockey, but they're used recreationally, and then the figure skaters use them and stuff like that. So yeah, you've got to share ice with a bunch of people, either time wise or literally while you can split your time on the ice. You use half, they use half, whatever. But I mean, it's doable when you have ice dens with a couple of rinks. But yeah, it's an expensive thing to do.
Yeah. Imagine any sport you play and then increasing the price because the floor melts.
Yeah, well, you can do that stuff in Canada where it doesn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, out here in the desert, you basically have to have, airlocks to keep the heat out.
Yeah. Black Magic says in Michigan you can play hockey 8 months out of the year, and I see that so much. Yeah, there's we have heaters because for 4 months it's too cold.
Yeah. No, the ice rinks here are 3 layers deep into a building, and it's always cold in there. Because if you dared to try to warm it up to even a spectator level, it would just be useless.
3 layers in Michigan. There's a door between the front doors and the.
Yeah, and there might even be a draft. A horrible draft.
You're saying like 3 layers between the outside and the ice, right?
Yes. You've got you've got a foyer, then you've got the intermediate airlock, and then the rink itself is actually enclosed and lower than the rest of the building.
No. We have the concessions on the outside in case you don't want to wear your coat while eating. That's you can bring it in. There's no problem bringing it in, but just in case you didn't want to, you can get it with your coat off.
Yeah, and just to give you an idea, the my kid's rink was literally a mile away from the power plant because, yeah, it's expensive.
Hiccups. Yeah. So the what was she? New Zealander?
Yep, a Kiwi.
She failed to put up 120. I don't know how it happens that she fails to put up 120, but they allow her into the 125 lift. I don't know if it works, but
Well, it's double elimination, isn't it?
Should she still have been double eliminated at 120?
Well, it could just be a form issue. Like if you don't, you get what?
Oh,
one
she
chance?
did error. She lifted it and it went past her back or her shoulder blades,
Right.
and she was given a fault.
Right.
So I guess maybe.
Yeah, that's why. Because it wasn't that she didn't get it up. She got both weights up, but it was out of form.
Yeah. Yeah, they all faltered. And then Raphael here in the front, I don't know shit about the discus, hammer throw, fucking nutsack launch.
Well,
but I know
she's basically
Megan
there
Ray-
because she's just a living clown show. She won silver, so I mean, good on her. But you don't get to be the clown if you're only pulling second place.
Agreed.
You have to be the best to pull this shit.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be undisputably the best to be doing this goat rodeo shit that they're doing on the side.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that meme where the third place guy, screaming and yelling, flipping the crowd off, popping champagne, kissing the girl. Yeah. You're third, dude. Shut the fuck up.
You don't win for third, you lose for third.
Second and third place are also Rands. Congratulations, you don't entirely suck.
But yeah, Megan Rapahoe, whatever you want to call it, she failed out on game one. They lost against
Sweden. Yeah, so they lost against Sweden, and then they recently just lost another match.
But to be fair, the Swedes were built like Barbies. Their legs went all the way up.
Even if even if they weren't contenders, and apparently they are because they beat the U.S. team, everybody's rooting for the Swedes because they look like women.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what their sexuality is. They are all gorgeous. I'm going to root for them.
Funny story about Megan Rapahoe. She is a lesbian, dating married to a Jewish woman.
Oh, I thought she was married to the Chicago mayor.
No, the Chicago mayor though is also married to a Jewish woman.
I just found it incredibly interesting that Rapahoe is so situationally unaware that she took a knee while the African American players on her team did not.
Mm-hmm.
That is a special sort of fucking self-absorbed.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'm a member of several teams. Not clubs, because I would never join a club that would have me. I don't like how low their standards would be. But I played baseball. I played football. I wrestled in high school. I was made to play basketball in elementary school just because I was tall. But there is a camaraderie. Like, I was forced down by 12 people. Thank you very much. No one else needed 12 people. That's what big old Jay Fry. That's what he needed. And I had my head shaved as part of hazing by the wrestling team. That is how you were welcome to the wrestling team, which is fair because the girls, we had two girls on my team my freshman year, both had to go in and get their hair professionally laced because not all the adults, I mean, we were 14, 15 and older because it's a high school, have the same standards of hygiene. So it was kind of a rite of passage, kind of a hazing ritual, but in the end, it was really something helpful to us because we were shaving our own heads after that.
I was going to say, and you don't want your opponent to be able to grab your hair.
Yeah, But as part of that, you get a certain amount of camaraderie with these people. And the black players on the team couldn't even share common ground with this woman. That's significant.
Yeah.
And this is a team sport. This isn't like, all right, there's a team sport in gymnastics where your numbers are all going up for the same goal of being first place. The entire team is working on it. And then there's the individual. And they've separated it now from team sports to individuals. So that if you are competitive against them, there's not a duality there, even though for some reason they allowed Simone Biles to play both sides. Because apparently she's the best in the world, even though she doesn't have the numbers to prove that.
Well, if you've seen her do her thing, she does shit that nobody else does. They literally don't have a judging scale that can accommodate what she actually does. So did
Natasha Lukin.
Right, but she is legitimately amazing at her sport. Okay, she is probably the best in the world because literally nobody else can do what she does. That being said, you're part of a team. And if you drop out, and she did, because she wasn't mentally there. Okay, that happens. You choke at the crucial moment. That happens. Whatever. That doesn't take away from her ability. But it does take away from why she's goddamn there in the first place. You are there to support your team. You're the best in the world, and even being the best in the world, if you have an off day, you're still better than everybody else in that room. On an off day. Suck it up, represent your country, represent your team, and do right by them. Just do it. Could be a slogan. Who knows? Just do it.
I don't know if I agree with that, though. Are you the best in the world if you can't pull it out when it's needed? On the Olympic stage? I mean, like, all right, so Top Gun. Maverick was the best flyer I've ever seen, including your dad. But he couldn't be counted on. That literally makes him not the best flyer. And if you can't pull it out when the chips are down, I think that disqualifies you from being the best. If you're the best when nothing matters, and you're not your best when it does matter, that makes you not the best.
I kind of agree with that.
But you didn't even mention that she withdrew and then threw herself back in, kicking off somebody.
Right, which is going to come up tomorrow when she's competing tomorrow in I guess the balance beam. Which if you drop out, that's it. You pulled the trigger. You can't unfire that bullet. But they're letting her unfire that bullet. If she thinks she's got a chance to even put up decent numbers, she's fooling herself. Because those judges are catty bitches. The lot of them. They're gonna just fucking shit on her so goddamn hard. She might as well not, honestly.
Yeah. If you guys have ever seen the movie Stick It, it's actually a pretty, not actually true, but factually true story of Olympic bullshittiness, or just gymnastic bullshittiness in general.
Yeah, the French judge has a reputation for being the French judge because it's real.
Well, French are fucking full of themselves, but no. Here's the thing: I came from a really good school. We was good at everything except English. There was gymnastics in or what was called tumbling, in our cheerleaders, and our girls cheerleaders. A vast majority of those girls, 9 months out of the year, worked on their cheerleading, and they often would go entire years without having their period because of the physical strains they put on their bodies. That is something similar that happens with Olympic caliber female gymnastics. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen with male gymnastics. That's why they're all under 18. It is very rare to see a 20-year-old male gymnast in the Olympics because their bone density has gotten stronger, their muscles have gotten stronger, and they literally become too heavy. There's a point in which well, basically it's in electronics, really. It's in the computer world where you can automate so many things that it goes too far, and you now require more people to fix the automation than would have worked in the automation field as regular people. It's diminishing returns is what it's called.
Right.
And that's what you have when you've become too tall, too muscular, too heavy. You are now having to pack on muscle to make up for the muscle you're packing on, to make up for the weight of your own body. So these girls who effectively are stunning their puberty. And I follow I forget her Shauna Williams. She got married to a football player, and she's still 5'2". She's pregnant with her second kid and still does all sorts of Olympic stuff, but she never grew. Then there's Natasha Lukin, who was 5'7" in the Olympics, doing things that on the uneven bars that other girls couldn't possibly dream of because of their lack of height. Then there's the opposite with Gabby Douglas and Simone Biles, who are tiny little things, and Blick. So they will not be doing the Olympics in South Africa anytime soon. Yeah, anything under 5'11" is considered dwarf. So yeah, she's a dwarf. 4'11", sorry, yes. Get on my level, it's 5'11". Fucking midgets. But
That's a good thing I barely made that if that were the case.
yeah. But yeah, no, it's 4'11". Is you actually can't be in a car without a booster seat under 4'11". So 4'8". Good luck with that. Well, I haven't been following track and field. I just had the Alicia Schmidt fiasco with the sexiest athlete in the world, who's a track and field for Germany. She lost out. She didn't even get to run because one of her teammates in a 4x4 relay touched a Jamaican runner and got disqualified. So her first attempt at Olympic gold was taken before she ever got to it. I would feel so fucking bad. I would feel like that fucking that basketball player who was laughing about COVID and touched everything.
Yeah.
And then the next day got confirmed to have COVID.
She is a specimen. My God.
She is, yeah. But there's so many. Like the Italian girl from 2016. Some of those girls, just good God.
There's a pole vaulter, and I don't know who she represents, but my God.
Italy 2016. The brunette that bounces.
God, yes.
Yeah. Can't think of her name, but and that's another thing. Oh God, what's her name? I can't even think of her name now. Who is the 16th ranked female tennis player from her childhood?
Marina Navratilova?
No, the other one.
16th.
And Anna Kournikova.
Tennis player.
Never broke 16th rank. Fucking gorgeous. She's like She's just famous for being pretty because she never beat 16th place. But Anna Kournikova was a gorgeous woman.
Yeah.
Like, I can't tell you who was number 1 that year, but I can fucking tell you who was number 16th.
The 10 most beautiful tennis players.
Thank you, Steven.
Oh,
Like, there's a joke.
It was the runner that they cutesy little dance before her run. Oh, good lord.
Yeah.
A little hip shake.
Yeah. There's a joke like, who's the 4th person to land on the moon? No one knows that. I'm like, sir, that was Alan Bean. But it's a joke that nobody knows that. And I'm like, I actually do know that because he punched out a Michigan service member in Michigan, and it was fucking hilarious. It's literally one of the first things I ever caught live. And I just got hit with a Google Workspace. So 2 weeks ago, at this exact time, I paid for Google Workspace. How's the weather there, Garrick?
Can't complain.
Mm-hmm.
We can.
I was thinking about it strongly. So, yeah, Anna Kournikova, my God, she was gorgeous. And I do not remember that Italian girl's name, but that bumping was pretty good. Also, probably Usain Bolt is one of my favorites because when he was in Beijing, he didn't trust the food and he just ate chicken nuggets for 2 solid weeks. I don't know how many chicken nuggets it takes at that level of competitiveness, but it's probably a couple hundred a day.
It's a smart move, though, because shadier countries are down to doing the silly ass shit by maybe spiking the food or something.
Well, that's
we
that's
all know
Trump.
You don't trust China.
That was Trump's. If you don't know, I don't know why you wouldn't know, because we all follow Trump here, right? You're goddamn right. Trump was a germaphobe, and that's something he grew out of while becoming president. Shaking 10,000 fucking hands is gonna force you to kind of adjust your bullshit. Anyway, he believed that because of the rigorous standards maintained by fast food industries for cleanliness, that it was cleaner than going to a mom and pop's restaurant. So that is why he's famous for shipping in McDonald's and eating McDonald's and his fucking Diet Coke.
Well, and that's also why he orders his steaks well done.
Which is some bullshit. I mean, Trump orders his steaks well done. I'm fine with that. I don't want to get a parasite either. But to mock him for that? Have you people even had the kinds of melt in your mouth steaks that Trump is having charred to a crisp? They're still going to be delicious.
Oh yeah, they'll still be tasty, and he's paying
They're
for
like,
it, so he can get it however he likes. I mean, if he likes it that way, I think it's a crime. But whatever, that's me, and he can do him, and he's successful, and I'm not going to argue with him.
Like, it's a $250 steak. It melts in your mouth if it's burnt black. But mocking him for that is what I'm talking about here. We've all, as children, probably, had well-done steaks because they weren't cooked properly And that's all our parents could afford at one point. They want to do something nice. They pan fried steaks instead of grilling them.
Yeah, the school Salisbury steaks.
I don't even know if that counts. But
right.
but yeah, like we've all had overdone steak, completely on accident by family or friends that you just ate anyway because you were lucky to have it. Like I would voluntarily step away from. We would get lobsters. Like I have family in New England area, and my family would go out there to come back with fresh lobsters. I don't know how fresh a fucking lobster could be on a 16-hour drive home, but
well, you got to cook them while
they
they're
were
still alive. So
they were alive still, yeah, on ice and stuff. But I'd always opt out of that. Like, I don't like it. So you can do that, and I'll have. I don't think this is a real Mike Hawk. First off, he's polite. Second off, there's no downvote. I think this is an imposter.
Imposter Hawk.
Faux Hawk.
Faux Hawk. Yep.
But and he's fake and late, which makes him extra gay. But yeah, to mock somebody for eating a well done steak, go fuck yourself. I see Joe Biden had a scoop of strawberry and a scoop of chocolate chip the other day in his ice cream cone, and no one's upset about
2 scoops.
Biden getting 2 scoops anymore. Although I gotta admit, it's kind of egotistical that Trump had like the biggest salt and pepper shakers on the table. It's like, is that really necessary?
Yes, it is.
I mean, like, I have used the same salt and pepper shakers for a period of time where I know one shake, which is really 2 shakes, is the exact perfect for basically any size noodles that I have on my plate. So I would kind of want a consistency, and if you're going out to some random ass place, go fuck yourself. Just go fuck yourself, mainstream media. So that's why I only eat chicken McNuggets for the entire 2 weeks I'm at the goddamn Olympics. So that's hilarious. He got ran over by this fucking all-terrain Segway. A cameraman, because they can't just run and compete with Usain Bolt. So they have to have...
That's not true, dude. I've seen video. I've seen a cameraman outrun...
Oh, I've seen that too!
Competitors.
It was women's, though. Calm down. Oh, yeah, like he's fucking tilted to the side the entire time, running with one arm, holding the camera with the other. I'm like, dude, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, give that guy a medal.
Yeah. I mean, like... It's different when they're filming like the bicyclist and they're on the motorcycle. But if you're on $5,000 carbon framed, ultralight, technology enhanced bicycles, and this Filipino asshole is on a fucking mongoose next to you, keeping up the entire way, I'd quit. I would quit before steroids caused me to lose a testicle.
Yeah.
But this fucking guy was a lightning bolt. I'm pretty sure he was an Australian cameraman too. I remember hearing something about the guy, and there was an interview, and he's like, "I just did it, all right. Just do my job."
Yeah, doing your job better than the goddamn competitors. That's amazing.
It's like you followed number one on the outside of the or the inside of the track. Followed number one, kept up with them the entire run, and beat them to the finish line to film them at the finish line. You're hurting their feelings.
Carrying equipment, carrying probably
35 pounds.
40 pounds of equipment on the inside, which is not a level, normalized surface.
Yeah, okay, I see that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, is it probably pretty smooth? Sure. Is it as smooth as the track the people that are competing on? Hell
No.
no.
It's an inch. It's an inch lower, and all of that inch is like that absorbent material for the knees.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
but
you've got to dodge other people's shit that's in your way. I mean, come on.
The guy I'm talking about had it was a Segway with like giant fucking wheels, like
BFG all-terrains.
Almost. Yeah, they were big. Like they were probably 16 inches tall. These wheels. Anyway, he was looking at somebody, probably one of the girls, and he drove up fucking Usain Bolt's leg. And Usain did like a cartwheel backflippy thing out of the way, and then made sure he caught the guy. And I'm like, dude, are your legs not insured with, what's the fucking name of that place that insures like the weird shit?
Lloyd's?
It's
Lloyd's
in England. London?
Yeah, Lloyd's of London.
Lloyd's, yeah. Are they not insured like J-Lo's ass cheeks? Or I think Mark Anthony's lips might have been some chef's hands were insured. Stephen Strange, I think he had his hands insured.
Oh, too soon.
Is it? I mean, he's doing pretty all right now. I think he just saved the world a couple months back. Even though he got whitewashed out of whatever show he was supposed to be on.
He wasn't supposed to be on any of the shows. He's got a movie coming.
Oh, yeah, but that's kind of bullshit. Mike Hawk says, wasn't there a bike race where the helicopter camera panned back and there was a guy riding a wheelie on the sidewalk, kicking up with the leaders? Yeah, that's a thing. But it's also, 200 yards of a 20-mile bike trek.
Right.
There's stamina and things to consider, and it could have been downhill or any number of things that would have aided, you being fresh versus them being
3 days in
professional goddamn athletes. Yeah. So no, I was thinking of Lloyd's of London. But does Barclays do it too? I'll have to look that up.
They probably do.
It's just weird shit.
Although I think Barclays is more into real estate than they are insurance.
Like insuring Lance Henderson's left tickle. The only one's there.
Uniball.
My brother had a hydrocephalic testicle, and like the funniest thing I could do is make fun of him for that, because he's not going to pull out his testicles to prove to people that he has two of them. So I just get to mock him for that until he exposes himself or tells me to shut up. He never got over it.
I know a guy in high school who injured a testicle wrestling, and the rumor going around was that he lost one. And he would play that up, and the girls would ask, and he got so many chicks in a compromised position because it was a rumor.
That's turning a frown upside down if I ever heard one.
Yeah, it's borderline rapey, but whatever.
Not they're asking to see it.
Right.
But,
yeah.
Closest we got in high school was someone playing dodgeball reached down to grab a dodgeball, and their fingernail caught the lip of the wood, and it got torn off.
Ow.
I do not think he ever got laid because of it either.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine he would. I mean, dodgeball injuries. Do chicks dig dodgeball injuries?
Chicks dig scars, man.
They dig scars, but do they dig dodgeball scars?
She can dodge a red.
All you have to do is wait till you get out of high school and give it another excuse.
Yeah. I should find out who that was and find out like how their fucking finger did. Like, I chopped into a fingernail once, and then I got stitches like around the finger because it went down to the bone, and I just super glued the nail back to the nail, and it never had an issue with it.
Well, there's like one guy that I worked with had a bridge for one of his front teeth to like replace it, and we had asked him like how it happened. He said, "Oh, I've told a bunch of stories about how it happened. I've told girls that I was a bull rider and it got knocked out. I told them that I got in a bar fight and I got knocked out and all kinds of other shit." True story was he was just cutting on a piece of metal that was under tension and he didn't know it. And when he finished cutting it, it snapped up and fucking hit the shit out of him. And knocked it out.
Ow.
I guess he was, I forget what he said he was cutting. Something like maybe the leaf spring on a trailer or a truck or something. He was like cutting it off and it just snapped at him.
Damn. Well, you should have fucking known if it was a leaf spring. Fucking retard.
Well,
Quit making up more lies than the Joker. You don't get his scars.
you want to know how I got these scars? Well, that's a lot of dead air.
That is some dead air.
Yeah. So I was trying to think of the
shitting
kid.
on the Olympians.
Yeah. I was trying to think of the kid.
Oh, the 5-year-old who saved his sister.
Yeah, I think it was. He's got a funny name. Grenadier.
Hey, I gotta go spend some time with the family. I might be back in a little bit.
Okay.
Bridger, that was his name. Bridger Walker?
There we go.
Bridger Walker now. Images.
This is a guy. They've got one, the CNN's got a story about a 5-year-old that saved his sister and a dog, but.
Oh yeah, that's a fucking scar, all right.
The Bridger kid. There we go.
It's like the un-Harry Potter. It's not bad. I mean, he's gonna have a smirk.
What's his name? Bridger Walker.
Bridger Walker, yeah.
Paste.
That's actually a really not bad scar coming from somebody who has some pretty gnarly scars.
Yeah, that's one that chicks are gonna dig.
Yeah.
I mean, he does have a little half Joker thing going on, but he healed up really well.
Yeah, but look at that other fucking dimple. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
Friggin' toe-headed, blue-eyed blonde. I think we'll be safe. Kudos to that kid for not picking a scar.
Yeah, no kidding.
He must have had like 2 months worth of mittens. Because I fuck with scars. And his little sister's cute as a button.
No, they're Australian.
Well, it explains why he was able to knife fight a fucking dog.
Yeah, the dog's
They teach them that young in the
least
outback.
deadly thing there's gunning for him.
Yeah, it always made me wonder, like, what does Australia have against Australians?
Well, it's a penal colony, and they're proving that in true form. Good lord.
Oh, well, you know, because we watch the same shows. I was like, do you know how many deaths they had last week?
One.
Yeah,
One.
one stitch. One.
There are literally plants that kill more people in Australia than that.
There's fucking air in Australia that kills more people than that.
Yeah, no joke. I mean, somebody in the desert probably died from overheating. More people died from overheating in the Australian outback in the winter, because it's their winter right now, than COVID. And they're, oh my God, we're gonna lock everybody down.
Do you remember Cooper's?
Yes.
Yeah. He had a buddy in fuck, I can't think of it. Anyway, his buddy lost his shit at 9 years old because he had never seen rain before. And it started raining. There was a 10-year drought where he was from. And he was 9 years old, and it started raining, and he thought the world was ending. It's like those those interior animals you keep that see grass for the first time, and they're like, I don't want anything near that.
Right.
But I couldn't imagine, like. Now I haven't experienced tornadoes. I mean, I've experienced like being within like 5 miles of a tornado, and I've definitely experienced 80-mile-an-hour winds, which technically made it a tornado, even though there was no funneling. A hurricane. I've never experienced an earthquake, even though my home has suffered from an earthquake that I wasn't here for. That would probably be really. I mean, my fucking ground shaking would probably scar me a little bit. But I've experienced most of what nature has to offer. Technically never a monsoon, even though I've been to Florida when it rained once. That's enough for me. In Florida, there's a 5-minute period where you get an entire day's worth of rain. Like, home of the flash flooding. If it wasn't flat as it is. If you had Florida rain in Tennessee, you would lose structures on the side of mountains. Because you're getting 3 inches of rain literally in 5 minutes, like water droplets the size of golf balls, just bashing you. I've never been so soaked in my life walking from the driveway to the house I was staying at in Florida. And I've walked to school in rain before. But I went to Katrina after the hurricane, but we went from Katrina to Texas, where we intercepted Rita. So I technically got a hurricane, thank God. But to not experience, like, I mean, rain's kind of on the natural side of weather.
Yeah.
So that's kind of.
I've been in a hurricane. Technically, I mean, it was a hurricane when it hit landfall, but I was north of Houston, so by the time it got up to us, it was just basically a tropical storm. It was heavy rain.
I technically was north of Houston too at the time.
Yeah, so I mean, it was one of those things that we can say we got hit by a hurricane, but by the time it got up to us, it wasn't. It was a bad storm, basically. I've been in the Midwest and been a couple hundred yards from where a tornado is ripped through, as it's ripped through. That is legitimately terrifying. I want no part of that anymore. That's why I live in the desert. But the thunderstorms you get off the plains are pretty bad. I've been in a tumbler, which is a sideways tornado that comes down the front range of the Rocky Mountains. That was a mile or two away, and I saw it, and I was like, yeah, I want no part of that. I've technically been in an earthquake, because we had an earthquake that happened in the North Valley up here a couple of years ago, and it literally just shook everything on my walls. Woke me up, and I was like, well, what the fuck was that? And then it was over, and that was that. So I can't really say I've been in an honest-to-God earthquake, but I have experienced an earthquake.
Yeah, same.
I've been
blizzard.
Exposed to wildfires. Not anywhere near close to where I live. Well, close is relative, but like not in any danger from them, but I've been close to them. They suck.
Okay, I've never been anywhere near a wildfire. I've technically been in a house fire, but it was fire training for It was a house that set on fire intentionally.
Right.
It was a firehouse at Great Lakes Nature Reserve, part of fire training. But I've never had anything remotely like a wildfire. How about a blizzard?
I've been in a blizzard, been in a whiteout. They're, I mean, they're dangerous in that you can, if you get exposed, you're going to freeze to death. You can get trapped in them. But,
I've been in an incredible blizzard. And I drove to and from work in the same blizzard, 8 hours apart, which is not nearly as dangerous. I mean, this blizzard put down 22 inches. I probably left at about 8 inches, and I came back at around 18 inches. That was not nearly as anything, because I only was like 5 miles away from home. But in Tennessee, I drove to work in a very light dusting of snow. And I got to work, maybe a half inch of snow had fallen. They had closed down. They weren't even working that day. And I'm like, it's just a half inch of snow. So I have to wait there for a particular amount of time before I'm allowed to go home. This is back when I was working security. And I get the call, the go ahead to go home. And I'm like, it's half an inch of snow, you guys. It's a whole inch now. I don't know why you canceled it. Oh, yeah, that's when I hit the mountain with an inch of snow on it. It's very different than flat fucking Michigan with 18 inches of snow. Just saying.
Yeah.
Very different. It's something about the horizontal versus the vertical that tensions up all three of your testicles at that point.
I've never been in an eastern blizzard, but I've been in a western blizzard. And they're a little different. Because you can get literally feet of snow in a western blizzard. And it sucks. And you might be snowed in. But you wait a day or two. And because it's so dry out here, a lot of it sublimates, a lot of it melts, and the sun comes out and shines on it, and the roads will be clear in a day or two.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. On my way home, I got a call from my boss asking if I could go to another spot and close for them and stay there the night because they wanted to get out before the snow really started falling. And I was like, okay. And so I got there around 4. And around 6 p.m., it stopped snowing for a minute, and the sun came out. And 10 minutes later, the blacktop was clear of snow. It was just wet.
Yep.
And I was like, that's fucking crazy.
Yep.
Because I was getting a glare while I was outside smoking. And then I got like a different glare. And I look over, and it's just gone. Like, that's some weird shit right there.
My freshman year of college in Flagstaff, the entire town turned into a solid block of ice for about a month. That sucked. But I didn't have a car, so it really didn't affect me. Slipped and fell a couple of times on the ice, but so what?
Mm-hmm. The what happens like in the Northeast in the winter, as soon as there's a blizzard, the trucks are on the road, and they have tons of salt in storage. Like, unless you get like a March blizzard, the roads will be clear within 3 hours at some point in that blizzard.
Yeah,
like every 3 hours the roads will be cleared.
When I was in Denver and there was an actual blizzard, the whiteout blizzard I was in, the trucks were still running. You could still drive on the interstate.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't the safest thing in the world, but you might have had an inch of snow underneath your tire at any time. But yeah, people still moved around.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna also go with I've never been in a volcano.
Oh, speaking of which, I think Sumatra just exploded, didn't it?
Fucking Maynard wins this game. apparently. Also, never been in a sandstorm.
Depends on where
Yeah,
the
fucking
sandstorm
Maynard
is.
wins.
We get them daily. There's different degrees,
Yeah.
but yeah, they're mostly, at least here in America, they're not. They look impressive. They're fully not all that impressive.
Oh, I take it back. I've been in a haboob. I was in a haboob just out of haboob. There's a city in West Texas called Haboob, Texas. It's known for their haboobs, and I was just outside that, and I was in a diner, and we saw nothing but snow, and all I could think about was The Mummy Returns. So I wasn't out in it, but I'd seen it. So competing with Maynard for the unluckiest bastard on the planet award, apparently. Missed the volcano, caught the forest fire, shit ton of earthquakes, blizzards, sandstorms. Good fucking luck, bro. Jesus Christ.
I guess I'm just full of shit. I guess that was fake news.
About which thing?
I guess Etna is currently erupting, but it's low risk. But I thought Sumatra had popped off, and it apparently has not.
What was the one in Italy a couple years back that like closed down flights for half the planet?
No, that was in Iceland.
Was it in Iceland?
It was in Iceland, and because of the way the wind blew, it kind of blew right over northern and central Europe, and they couldn't run flights.
I thought it was Italy. No, I mean, it starts with an I, whatever. Oh, a Maine hurricane sounds fucking way worse than a Louisiana hurricane.
What does?
A Maine hurricane? I picture like 40-degree difference between a Maine hurricane and a Louisiana hurricane. Speaking of, I was listening to a creepypasta today, and they were talking about a rougarou, which is a Louisiana werewolf, which are loups-garoux, but in Louisiana they call them rougarous because that's French. And she said she'd always... Huh?
Loup-garou?
Loup-garou is...
There we go.
Is the term, but in Louisiana it's rougarou.
Okay.
For French, rougarou. But everywhere else it's loup-garou. I mean, not everywhere else, because Michigan it's dogman technically, which isn't really a werewolf. Blah blah blah. And whatever the fuck Florida swamp monkeys are, or swamp apes. Anyway, so she was talking about her fear of the swamp, because when she'd look out, she would see the glowing yellow eyes of alligators. That isn't scary. The glowing eyes of alligators is not scary. It's the alligators you can't see that are scary. So that is an analogy I kind of want to put forth. Like, we're seeing so much scary shit right now in the news, and the bullshit with COVID, and the bullshit with like the stuff that's happening with Trump, and like they're arresting people in the Trump organization for tax evasion when any normal citizen would get a letter. You owe us $37,000. Send us a check. They're arresting people in Trump's organizations for not properly filing fringe benefits. Not technically like regular benefits or assets, but the fringe benefits. That's the alligator you don't see. normally. You're now seeing them. That's scary. The mask mandate. The fact that they'll delete misinformation because they don't want confusion, but yet there's CDC statements about not having to wear a mask that are still up after they've ordered you to wear a mask that are still up, after they've canceled wearing a mask that are still up. Now they're going back to, even if you are in the state of emergency just got declared in Tennessee yesterday, to wear a mask even if you're vaccinated indoors. I'm never going to do that. The state of Tennessee has decided I do not need further hazmat training because of COVID. So I'm not going to treat this as a hazardous situation.
Interesting story. The wife and I went up to Vegas weekend before this most current one, and it was full open. Everything's back to normal. Crowds everywhere. Crazy normal Vegas. Okay. My buddy went up with his wife this weekend. They got back yesterday. He said that the day.
Oh yeah, Nevada went. Yeah, they shut down.
They went full retard and were making everybody wear masks. Indoors, everywhere. 4 days difference. 4 days between the time I came back down and he went up. And they went full retard. And my argument is this. Masks didn't work the first time. What makes you think they're going to work now?
Mm-hmm.
It's a placebo.
There's an argument.
It's a social placebo. And it's bullshit.
I mean, think about this. You go to an NBA game. You're masked up. Even though the players on the court that are absolutely not social distancing themselves are unmasked.
Yeah, they're literally sweating all over each other.
LeBron James just broke $1 billion as his being paid for playing in the NBA, which, good for him. Still fuck that guy. But he's been in the NBA since he was 19, and he's accumulated tons of accolades and acclaims and awards. So good for him. Are you going to risk an experimental vaccine on your $1 billion baby? As somebody who has him insured for hundreds of millions of dollars as a coach to the owner of an NBA team. Are you going to subject your entire roster to a drug that a doctor would not prescribe for fear of getting a lawsuit against him?
Well, that answer is obviously yes, because they did.
Did they?
Yes.
Or did they get a placebo?
Yeah, that's a good question. We don't. Well, I guess we'll never know.
Mm-hmm. The creator of the CNC testing kit for the COVID strand said, my testing kit can find anything. If you're looking for COVID in a nostril, you'll find COVID in a nostril. If you're looking for anything in that nostril, my test will find it. But you are not using my test for what it was designed for. Which all it does is takes a section of your nasal cavity and he blows it up to a significant degree so that it can find things. And he's saying, it's a nose. You'll find whatever the fuck you want in there. Like, that's its job. It's like finding an earring in a filter. You're going to find the fucking earring because it's the filter. You're going to find everything in there It's your nose. Your nose is the natural filter to your brain. That's why you have boogers. Was there a more technical term than boogers? Nose detritus?
Nose goblins? I have no idea.
Yeah, but yeah, man, it's just absolutely ridiculous.
Solidified mucus? I have no idea.
It's not really mucus if it's just the collection of debris that is blocked by your nasal phalanges from dusting against your fucking brain cells.
Right.
But yeah, I don't. A quarantine is for sick people. They're quarantining healthy people. The mask does not work. An N95 mask works. An N96 mask works. An M96 mask works. These form against the bridge of your nose and seal against your face, not allowing your breath to get out. I put a sleeve on, literally a sleeve. And I can blow out my Zippo lighter with it on because I've done it, because I laugh about it. It's not happening.
But the droplets, it stops the droplets.
The droplets! which is true.
It does. It does. But that's literally all it does. Is it's literally just a physical impediment to larger chunks that may or may not contain the virus. So, I mean, they're not useless, but they are completely ineffective if you're trying to ward off disease.
It is. But you being asymptomatic does not mean you have COVID. You breathing in COVID and breathing out COVID does not mean you have COVID. So you wearing a mask that does not block you from getting in or out COVID fully, it does not fully block you, because there is COVID on droplets and there's COVID in exhalation just by itself. A droplet is 5 microns. The COVID itself is 0.1, and the mesh blocks 0.1. You might catch a droplet if it's big enough. Good going. But you're going to catch COVID from yourself. Because you don't get COVID from inhaling and exhaling it. You get it from rubbing it into your glands. So when you take your mask off 6 times a day, getting in and out of your car, you've contaminated your hands and you touch yourself. If this was much more dangerous, like a SARS or a MERS or any of these lung things that happen, H1N1, bird flu, pig flu, fucking swine flu, taco flu, whatever you call them. If these were the more dangerous ones, I would 100% suggest you wear the mask in your car. You wash your hands, you put a sterile mask on, and you do not touch that thing until you are home, and you take that mask off, you immediately put it in the washer or a boiling pot of water or whatever, and then you wash your hands. That is the correct way to handle and disinfect a mask. You do not get in your car, take your mask off, touching a contaminated mask, putting it back on the next place you end up, touching an infected mask, reinfecting the mask when you take it off. That's not how it works. And we are not used to masks, and we keep touching them. Is that Garrick back again?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, welcome back.
Yeah, what have I missed?
Nothing that we haven't covered weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks ago.
Yeah.
We're just rehashing
Black Magic,
some bullshit.
you clearly do not have a proper seal on your mask. Next time you have N95 and you think it's properly applied, take a hit of a cigarette, put your mask down, and blow out. If it's not coming out through the middle of your mask and it's escaping through the edges, that is an ineffectual seal. Form it properly to your head, which means no beard, little more than a mustache, and a properly tight seal to your goddamn face. The schmutz, yeah. What else we got?
Well,
Any more hot Olympians?
no, I think
How
we're,
about the threat of lockdowns coming back?
that's what we were talking about.
Or just
I did ask you what I missed.
Well, like I said, the same shit we've talked about weeks and weeks and weeks ago, because it's back, baby. I was
It's on like Donkey Kong.
relayed the message that I was in Vegas 2 weekends ago and it was normal, and then my buddy went up this last weekend and masks again everywhere because people are fucking sheep and they're just whatever. My job's doing it too. They've allocated 5 N95 masks for me, and they're like, we strongly suggest that you wear them. I'm like, yeah, that won't be happening.
Glenn Jacobs, the mayor of Knox County, said they will not be reissuing the mask mandate. He unilaterally stopped it, said it won't happen again. And I think it's fair for him to say that because that dude spent 10 years in a mask.
Fair.
So I think he knows what he's talking about. Don't play your bullshit games against somebody who wore a mask for a decade.
I got my Guy Fawkes cloth mask, sitting on my desk at work.
Oh, dude, if I had that, I'd wear it.
If push comes to shove and they mandate that I wear them in the office, they're getting the Guy Fawkes mask. And when they confront me about how subversive it is, I'm gonna just answer, you're goddamn right. Your fear is not my fucking problem.
I have one that says that this mask is as useless as Joe Biden.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I've got Trump 2020. I've got 3 stars to Tennessee volunteers. It was supposed to be Confederate flag. Well, they sent me the wrong one, and I just said, fuck it. I mean, I do live in Tennessee, so that's fine. It'd be weird if I was in Kentucky rocking a 3 stars to Tennessee mask, but I've got red, white, I've got a what is it called? What's the black and white American flag? Yeah. The red and the blue are black, and the white, the stars and the stripes are white. It's
the thin blue line flag.
No, it's a subtle, the subtle flag. And it's upside down in distress, which means I'm subtly in distress.
Good.
Which I thought I was just wearing it upside down, and I'm like, I thought I bought this thing upside down. Like, oh, I'm just wearing it wrong because I'm a retard. There's actually a study out that smokers are less likely to get it than non-smokers because of them smoking and because of nicotine is successfully fighting COVID. But then again, I've also seen studies that say short people are more likely to get it and tall people are more likely to get it. So what the fuck?
There's so much misinformation out there and nonsense. You know, you can't trust the goddamn press to tell you what's real. So
not everybody wants the same thing. That's why I go with Liberty Mutual. They customize my car insurance.
Hey, we don't need a commercial here, Garrett.
We could get a sponsorship. I'm just saying.
I wonder if we
until
get
you get the
flagged
money,
for that.
they can fuck off.
Especially with, I definitely prefer farmers commercials, but I have Geico. All right, let's see. Let's take a quick run through the
I
news.
always want to get beat out. Well, they did get Apocalypse Now this time, so that's good. But I want him to watch Goodfellas.
Oh,
Fuck's sake.
Speaking of Sean, how do you feel about 4 out of 5 wikis for Matt?
Yeah, I think I may have primed the pump, so I think I got a little bit of a nod in the fact that he gave it a better rating than I ever expected him to, but he still was like, he still missed the point. And he
You talked
almost
to
got
Blonde?
it. He almost got it. No, I haven't talked to Blonde.
Oh, why not? I thought you two were buddies. I thought I
She
saw
hates
that
my
for
guts,
you.
man.
What?
She's hated my
No, I
guts.
fixed that.
For years, she's hated my guts.
What? No, I fixed that, bro. I think I fixed that. Oh no, it's on my to-do list. Sorry.
It's fine, whatever. And she's more than welcome to her opinion. I mean, and most people aren't gonna have that level of understanding of how it's the best movie ever made because they suck. So
Well, she did explain that it was on. She put it in the lower half of her list for a reason, and it seemed like she was really backing your play. So I thought you might have actually talked to her.
no, I haven't actually spoken with her directly in fucking almost a year, if not more than a year, at this point. Last time she was on here, as a matter of fact.
Whatever spoilers are left for this movie, please don't ruin them because I still haven't watched it yet.
What?
You fucking kidding me? It's been out. Let's see. You're 26. Your entire life.
Yeah. Well, I still need to watch Young Frankenstein, and that's been out pretty much my entire life too.
See, Young Frankenstein was one of those movies that it's good, but I don't know why it was on the list.
Yeah, me either. You need
that
to.
That was Blonde's pick, not ours.
Yeah, you need to preemptively watch these things.
Yeah,
like
and no
Apocalypse Now is next, so watch it this week.
Been extolling the virtues of the best movie ever made for years to you, Garrick, and you still have not indulged yourselves on the best movie ever made.
We're literally on year 5, bro. Year 5. And
well,
I
since
thought
it's
we were
an
talking about
80s
amazing
movie, I'm sure it's going to be kind of at some points.
Have you seen Blazing Saddles?
Yeah.
All right, just checking.
Yeah, Blazing Saddles is a much better movie than Young Frankenstein.
Absolutely. Oh my god, so much worse too.
Yeah,
in the right ways.
I saw that, and let's see, Blazing Saddles, Spaceballs, Robin Hood Men in Tights. Princess Bride. What's another good Mel Brooks movie?
Princess Bride. Is not
Stephen.
It's in the vein. Indy in it.
No, that's Billy Crystal. You fucking jackass.
Oh, okay, my bad.
No, and
the
best Mel Brooks movie is History of the World Part 1.
I haven't seen that. I did watch The Life of Brian, but that was
it's Monty Python.
It's Monty Python.
Yeah, okay, that explains why so much of it didn't land. Like probably the funniest part in the whole movie to me was the part where he's writing whatever it is on the wall, and the Romans walk up on him and correct him. that one had me in fucking stitches, but the rest of it was like, okay, I guess.
I mean, Monty Python Flying Circus is some of like the best comedy ever written.
Some of it. It has its moments. To me, it's a lot like The Office, which is an adapted British TV show of The Office. A lot of it does not land, but it has its moments for sure that are absolute fucking gold.
Steve, I'll explain it to you in the off hours. It's a funny story in which Sean does not like it.
Yeah, Sargon admitted today that he likes the American version of The Office better than the Ricky Gervais English version.
Really? That's interesting.
I cannot stand Steve Carell, so I have not watched a lick of The Office, nor do I ever intend to.
I'm not a Steve Carell fan, but I loved Evan Almighty.
So, let's see. I agree that Steve Carell is a bit annoying, and he's like in the middle ground of who's the funniest people. Like he's in the middle. The top ones are, uh, yeah, we can, Sean. We sure can.
Oh, don't you dare give me shit.
It's what I do though. It's Jim Jim Halpert and Dwight Schrute. They're back and forth, and then when Andy comes in the later seasons, that's all a big thing. That's probably some of the best stuff. The
Okay, so
best,
you're just talking about The Office, right?
just The Office. So,
Okay, 'cause
but there's
it's
a
like, no.
there's
Just no.
a part in one of the episodes where Andy has a ringtone that's a really fucking annoying ringtone. So Jim steals his phone and hides it from him and keeps ringing it off the hook and drives him insane because he can't find his phone. And it's probably one of the funniest scenes in the entire series, honestly. But I mean, it's a lot like Monty Python stuff. There's good stuff in there, but it's buried in a whole lot of just needless garbage.
Mm.
Or a lot of filler. It's what it really is. It's just filler.
Right. Well, at least with
Although-
Monty Python, it was a sketch show. So you would get different sketches that were sometimes non sequitur, which helped make it
Yeah.
funnier. A sitcom, they they kind of suck.
Mm-hmm. Although I will say that Michael Scott taken out of context are some of the funniest bits in the world. I think the best one was whenever they lined up all the different Democrats and he plays each part perfectly. Oh, that was great stuff. Have you ever seen that video?
No.
That was for the 2020 lineup, I think.
Yeah, I
No, it might have been
actively
2016.
avoid anything Office. Actively.
Okay, well, I have to share this with you
Like I
because it's too
reject
damn
it
fun.
all. I reject it all.
That's
It's
literally how I
derivative
feel
garbage
about-
from a superior British product, whether you think the British one is superior or not. So it's second rate to begin with. I don't like the main actor. Fuck The Office.
It literally stole a #1 rated sitcom to replace it with a #1 rated sitcom. There's no improvement there. But I do enjoy seeing on TikTok I am the victim of a hate crime. Well, I hate it. But it's not a hate crime. I hated it. Have you seen Mace People? That's Office. So,
It's Office Space.
Off Space. Not.
I need to see that movie too. Come to think of it,
You've not
Good
seen
Lord.
Office Space?
no.
You better hurry up before it outdates itself.
Have you seen Idiocracy?
No.
Put that on your list as well.
Do I need to make a list of movies for me to see?
Yes.
Clearly.
Probably. Okay. Good to know.
And if you haven't been emotionally scarred by movies, The Color of Night. Just add that for a good old-fashioned scarring.
No.
9.5 weeks.
That's
Same
a good
reason.
one. I like it. I didn't like. What was that Kevin Spacey movie?
All of them.
Well, no, I liked him.
American Beauty?
Yes, that one. That one left me feeling wrong.
Yeah.
I know. Never
I'm
seen.
still not sure. If Thora Birch was naked in that movie or not.
I did see The Usual Suspects though, so I have seen a
That's
few.
a good movie. Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah, it's a good one. It was a good.
He's also good
Verbal
in LA
Kent.
Confidential.
Yeah, true.
7.
Sad.
There's a
Yeah.
movie called Jack where he plays a lobbyist in DC. That's a pretty good movie.
Mm-hmm. What's the one with Philip Morrow? Thank you, Philip Morrow. No, wait. Thank you. Thank you for smoking, maybe. Anyway, Seven. Yeah, there's a scene in Seven where Morgan Freeman's throwing a switchblade into the wall.
Yeah. No, it's at a dark.
That's yeah, at a dartboard. It's fucking dumb because you can't throw a switchblade into the wall. I'm reading a behind the scenes on Seven, and it's goddamn Morgan Freeman with so many takes. He got accurate at throwing a fucking switchblade into the wall. That was him throwing a switchblade into a dartboard. They're the most unwieldy knives imaginable. It's 10% blade weight in the blade. Well, I mean, 100% of the blade weight's in the blade, but the 10% of the weight of the knife is in the blade, and 90% is in the handle. And he managed to stick it 3 fucking times in a row. I am a knife thrower and can't do that.
Are you a hatchet thrower? Are you a hammer thrower?
Nope. I am a 3-position knife thrower.
Have you guys seen Swimming with Sharks?
Swimming with Sharks. That's a political? It sounds like a political movie.
It's Kevin Spacey and Frank Whaley.
Are they lobbyists?
No, I think they're salesmen, if I remember correctly. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
I guess car salesmen could be swimming with sharks, but that really sounds like lobbying or some sort of politicking. Is it Thank You for Smoking? I think somebody gets it's like Thomas Jane gets kidnapped by an anti-smoker group and puts so many nicotine patches on him that if he ever smokes again, he'll die.
It's a young naive Hollywood student. I know I can speak.
Thank You for Smoking, Aaron Carter.
Shut up. A young, naive Hollywood studio assistant finally turns the tables on his incredibly abusive producer boss.
Okay, that'll work. Swimming with Sharks could be Hollywood, too.
Yeah.
This was in 94, so, yeah.
I always confuse Frank Whaley for John Cryer.
How?
I'm pretty sure they're the same person.
I always confuse John Cryer and Matthew Broderick.
No. But I think what happened was they played the same character in shit. What's the movie? Wasn't Frank Whaley in?
He was in Career Opportunities.
Well, yeah, he was in Career Opportunities. He was in like Pulp Fiction and Broken Arrow, but wasn't he in Top Gun?
No, he's too young.
Well, I thought he was a Rio, like a failed Rio, because he was young.
Okay, so I'm looking at some of the new movies that's going to be coming out either this year or next year, and Suicide Squad is one of them. They almost with the first cast member they put up. Want to guess who?
No, you're going to tell us.
Come on, guess for fun.
John Cena.
Pete Davidson. I almost got that name backwards.
Oh, fuck that guy.
Yeah, but they saved it with like the rest of the cast. So it's Nathan Fillion, Sean Gunn, Michael Rooker, Jay Courtney. I recognize him, but I don't know how you say his name.
Jai Courtney.
Jai Courtney? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Where do I recognize him from? Divergent, yeah.
I don't care how many swings they take with that bat, I'm not gonna like Suicide Squad.
Yeah. I wanted to see who was in Venom, but it doesn't show.
And quite frankly, unless they come out with something new and original, fuck
They're
movies
not
in
gonna.
general.
There's nothing new and original. There's nothing new and original.
I mean, The Rock keeps
Well, I think
wants to remake the best movie ever made, which is fucking retarded. But if he wants to make the sequel, fine. Or better yet, Hollywood, you promised this 40 goddamn years ago. Give me the sequel to Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension.
Yeah. I think Michael Rooker's going to be in it, so he'll be switching over from Marvel to DC.
Oh,
But Michael Rooker,
no. The new Witcher series, new season.
Yeah, season 2 comes out in December. That I'll watch because
In December. God damn. All right.
I like Henry Cavill.
He actually did a good job as Geralt.
surprisingly good job.
Yeah, he did.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I became a fan of his not because of Superman. I think Superman's boring and a lousy character to begin with, but I became a Henry Cavill fan because of the Man from U.N.C.L.E. movie, which was astonishingly good for what it was, and it got no acclaim.
Doesn't get enough credit.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't get enough credit at all. It's a great movie.
But it really doesn't get the. It never really got the attention it deserved as a TV show either.
That's true too.
Fuck, it was so dry. Stallone is playing the voice of what's his name, like Sharkman or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, if I could ever think of somebody I wanted to do voice acting, it would be Sylvester Stallone and fucking Vin Diesel. But there's this scene of John Cena who's playing like the most up his own ass, like doesn't catch subtlety or anything like that. But Sharkman has a C4 doll of the Peacemaker. He goes, "You're a Peacemaker." John Cena's fucking shit up. He goes, "It looks nothing like me." And I'm like, you're way too serious. This might actually be mildly entertaining.
Yeah, except John Cena sucks. So
John Cena gets that's not fair. John Cena came in on a 9th installment of a franchise that is fully established and said something that could affect sales. It making personally what I find it like to be an honest mistake. Simplistic. He said the first country that'll be airing F9 will be Taiwan. Now, China, which is arguably their biggest market, because it's got a fucking 1.5 billion goddamn people, took umbrage with that because they consider Taiwan part of China.
They can consider it all they want. They're wrong, and they need to be told they're wrong.
But the China bureaucrats will just ignore the movie. They won't allow it to play in their theaters.
Fuck them. Do you not get to understand that? I understand the financial motivation. That makes John Cena worse. Say what you're going to say. This is America. Say what the fuck you mean. Stand by it. Don't fucking cuck to foreigners. I don't care how much money's involved. Fuck them. They either want your product or they don't. If they don't, they don't. Move on.
Can you give me like a summary of his apology to China?
I can't because I do not speak Mandarin.
Okay, well, I read the subtitles. He does. He speaks it. He's been speaking it for well over 5 years. He does interviews in simple Mandarin because they tried to make a push into China, the WWE, like 10 years ago, and John Cena was part of that, and he liked Mandarin, and he's been practicing Mandarin for a decade. his apology was simple. It was, I am so very sorry for offending you with what I said. It was in no way meant to be offensive. This is my bad. I take this on myself to make this apology. If I offended you with my words, I'm sorry. He didn't denounce Taiwan. He didn't demand Taiwan to be a free country away from China. He just made a what was a heartfelt and humble apology to keep
Under duress.
his personal error
Under
from
duress.
Is it under duress if
Yes.
he meant it?
Even if he did meant it, it was mandated
He
by
did
his
it.
overlords. Fuck that shit.
I don't know if it was. I'm more upset about The Rock coming out and supporting Biden
Yeah, that fucking sucks too.
than I am about the very simplistic apology John Cena gave for saying what possibly might have been offensive to a certain group of people. Which isn't, by the way, isn't like native Chinese. It's just the Communist Party of China.
Again, we're in another Cold War, and if we don't recognize that, we've already lost. They're doing to us what we did to Russia. They're doing to us exactly what we did to win the Cold War against the USSR, and people don't see it. They refuse to acknowledge it, and it's pissing me off.
That's not the direct. Dr. Tommy always says.
I'm not sure if Cena got a phone call or not. I think it might have been something he did on his own. But again, like Mike's saying, he got a phone call, apologize, your career's over. I can also see that too. So if he did for that reason, I'm not a fan of that. But
well, I'm
just
more
gonna call him a
forgiving.
pussy and move on.
I am more forgiving if he got that ultimatum saying we will ruin your career if you don't. I would give him more credence for doing it if he did it under duress than if he just did it willingly. Because fuck those people.
I mean, if you want to make money in China, probably don't hire a director who films in Taiwan because he's Taiwanese. Because Justin Lin is fucking Taiwanese and he filmed F9. That's the whole reason that the opening, the first opening of the film's in Taiwan. What the fuck? But like I said, more concerned about the Rock and coming out against the racist orange man and supporting the senile white man.
Well, and I would love to see an interview where somebody confronts him on that. Because I don't think it was heartfelt. I don't think it was.
Who the
I don't
fuck
think it
is
was
gonna do
genuine. Nobody, but it would be nice to see. So, how's that endorsing Joe Biden working out for you? You happy about that? Is that working out well for you? Just to see what kind of reaction you get out of him from that. Do you think that was a worthwhile bit of your time?
Was it a paid endorsement?
Yeah, that'd be my next
Because I
question.
know you get money to say shit that isn't something you truly believe.
Right. And
There's
again,
no way you work your way through the WWE to become the pinnacle of fake wrestling to then encourage fucking Joe Biden.
well,
Kamala Harris, who slept her way to the top, and Joe Biden, who slept his way to the top.
Sleepy Joe Biden.
Yeah.
No, I mean, in his industry, in where he lives, I'm willing to bet that he's more like a Dean Cain than he will ever admit publicly, because it would ruin him if he did. But that's just it. If there's non-genuine motivation to do these things, and it's the non-genuine motivation that makes them suck.
Mm-hmm. I concur.
Now back to the review. I found out recently, and I did not ever know this, even though I knew that John Carpenter formed whatever band did the theme song. I can't think of the name of the band off the top of my head right now. But I found out that the keyboard player that's in the video was the guy who played the original Mike Myers.
What band? Because John Carpenter plays keyboard.
No, John Carpenter's the guy on bass who's singing.
Yeah, but he's an accomplished pianist.
No, I'm sure he is, but in the video I'm talking about.
He wrote the theme song to, or not theme song, but the theme of Mike Myers on a piano.
Oh.
The 5/4 beat. Dun, 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 dun.
Let's see. Oh, I don't want to turn that on, actually. Let me see if I can find the song.
Are you looking for?
There it is.
Are you looking for the name? Because Nick Myers in the original.
The Coupe de Villes. Okay, the band name that they released the song under is the Coupe de Villes.
Oh, for Big
For
Trouble in
the-
Little China?
Yeah, the music video for Big Trouble in Little China.
I don't remember a music video.
Yeah. Here, I'll send you a link. It's on actually Matt's review page. And that's how I'm pretty sure I primed the pump, because I was the one on Twitter yakking about it and about how it's the best thing ever. So like I said, I may have primed the pump. I'm sure he still went in as objective as he always is. So I don't know if he spiked the review a little bit on my behalf, not on my behalf, but because I kind of preemptively primed the pump, as it were, as opposed to him going in completely raw. Here's the music video for Big Trouble in Little China. Oh yeah, I guess the women's soccer team lost to Canada too.
Who cares?
Anybody that wants to give Megan Rapinoe, have her take the piss, because she fucking sucks.
Yeah, I prefer the soundtrack to The Last Dragon. Where they just throw out random fucking words and they make songs out of them.
Hello, Moto.
Shut up, Phil. Just make an Asian song. Suki haki yaki faki ni saki to me saki to you. Oh, fucking K, phone. What's going on with you? Why is my phone going off like crazy? Oh, I just got service. Apparently, I was missing service for a while there. Oh, Lily responded. Okay, that was Lily. I got bank deposit. I got.
When is Bebe due?
6 months. Call me shit.
6 months.
I don't think
No. It's got to be 3 or 4 months, longest at latest.
I'm getting fucking messages from you jackasses. That's what's happening here.
Okay.
Well,
That's
yes,
all I've got.
we are doing a thing. We're doing it right now, as a matter of fact.
Download unsuccessful. What download's unsuccessful? What the fuck? I have a voicemail that I'm not going to check.
Oh, part 2 of He-Man focuses heavily on Evelyn. No shit.
I believe it. I kind of felt that way, like she was going to stab Skeletor in the back because she was friendly with Orko right before he died. But what's going to end up happening is somehow they're going to reverse time. And everything that went wrong is going to be fixed because that's literally how He-Man works.
Well, it's Kevin Smith at the helm, so it doesn't necessarily have to.
But he's still defending, like he's lying to defend it, much like Fauci is lying to defend COVID all the time. So I feel like he's going to be like, see, everything's okay in the end.
I think that the right ending would be that they banish Tila for being a just ginormous cunt about the whole thing. So she's just banished.
How are you going to have such a fucking brick on your shoulder, a chip that is so large it's considered a brick on your shoulder, that you are going to say, fuck Eternia, let it collapse, when you live on Eternia?
They gave him that steroid shot that Friday.
See, that's the problem with all these strong women's in their roles, is that they're literally not heroic. They are not heroic at all. They exhibit zero heroic characteristics.
Mm-hmm. Sarah Connor was not a strong woman in the original Terminator.
She was the damsel in distress.
Sarah Connor was a strong woman in the second. She took what happened in the first and changed her life and became a badass.
Because it scared the shit out of her. That's
Yes.
believable in some way, shape, and form.
Ripley was a damsel in distress in the original Alien. She was a badass in Aliens. She had overcome fear and became a badass. We, as moviegoers, love strong women. We do not love Mary Sue's. Unless you're going to be fucking Mary Sue. Like, Xena. Oh, fucking Steven just said Xena was wrong. All right, Xena, Wonder Woman. They're badasses day one. Don't give me the backstory on how she had to try to be a badass. She could lift 10 times the weight anybody else can lift at 6 years old. She was always a badass. But her personality is what made her the lovable character.
Well, I mean, technically, you can say the same thing about Hercules. Hercules is literally a demigod, was always fucking kick-ass, but he was heroic because he had to learn humility. It's the same story for Thor. Thor was always a badass, but had to learn what it meant to be a hero.
Yeah, but Hercules he he did get strong on his own. Like he found a baby horse, and every day he lifted that horse until it was a full-grown fucking 700-pound horse. You know, Perseus is a little more Mary Sue, even though he wasn't really successful. Like he accidentally won every battle, sort of like Luke Skywalker. But everybody loved Han. You know, Han was lovable, and he shot first, by the way. But he was a lovable fucking character. We have no problem with being slightly duplicitous. We have no problem with having vague morals. We have no problem with you being great to begin with. It's what you fucking do with it. Like, you can be the greedy guy who demands payment for the rescuing the thing. We don't particularly like you then, but when we find out you didn't take the payment, you know, there's a redemption. Everyone loves a redemption.
He still took the payment.
Am I thinking of Spaceballs? I think I'm thinking of Spaceballs.
Han was the original fuck bitches get paid.
Yeah.
He still got paid.
Maybe it was Spaceballs. They didn't take
the back
payment
to redeem himself, but he still took the money. Because the whole point of Empire Strikes Back starts with Han going to pay off Jabba with the money he got from the first movie.
Oh, I'm thinking of Spaceballs then. Which I've seen way more times because I stopped watching after they redid the
Han shooting first.
Han shooting first. That was such bullshit.
It's even better when you know that the person playing Greedo was a woman.
What's that? That's you shot a bitch.
Shot a bitch.
But yeah, you show me somebody I can look at and see as a genuine, strong female lead, I'll eat that shit up. Don't show me who you claim is a strong female lead. Let me decide that for myself.
Yeah, no, Ripley is the best example of a strong female lead that everybody loves.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm cheering on. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'm cheering on the final girl, who is not a badass by any means, but I want her to succeed. I want her to overcome and get the job done against a fucking dream demon like Freddy Krueger, a human destruction machine like a Mike Myers, or a bullet sponge zombie like Jason Voorhees. I want them to lose, but then you give me a cast like Staying Alive, where the most likable character is Frankie fucking Muniz. I'm gonna cheer for Elizabeth Bathory. Like, just stop it with these entire cast of annoying people like Friended. Give me somebody I can root for. And stop making people 1 month pregnant, for fuck's sake. It's a horror movie. You're not going to get me emotionally invested in someone I don't give a fuck about.
Well, and going back to Ripley, she's legitimately terrified of the xenomorphs the entire time.
Yeah, and there's a fucking good reason for that. They bleed acid.
Right. She knows exactly what they are, and she's terrified of them the entire time. She's not...
Are we talking Alien or Aliens?
Alien and Aliens. I'd have to rewatch Alien 3 because I think it gets a little kooky in Alien 3. But in the first two movies, she's legitimately terrified of these things the entire time. Even when she has to get the loader and kick the mama alien's ass because she threatened a child. She's still terrified. You can see it in her face. She's still terrified of this thing, but she's doing what she has to do. That's a hero.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fucking hero.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Marvel was never a hero. Ever.
They tried to with the fall down 6 times, get up 7 times bullshit, or it's fall down 7 times, get up 8. but like you weren't scared. You were never scared. Like you fucking picked on and stole a bike from pseudo Donald Trump. I don't give a fuck. Like your greatest weakness was you're too powerful? Remind me how that's a weakness? I mean, the Dread Pirate Roberts, you know, fucking Wesley was a cabin boy who was threatening his life every day until he was given the, you know, he was trained up and became the Dread Pirate Roberts.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he had a fucking arc. We didn't see it, but we got a story that made it wonderful. I still like that movie.
He literally died.
You mean on the table?
Yeah, he died.
To believe, which means to bluff.
To believe.
He was a card shark. To believe.
Yeah.
Which was Bill Crystal, not Mel Brooks.
Yeah. But I mean, he literally died.
It's stay alive, not staying alive. Thank you, Stephen. You are 100% correct. Stay alive. Well, it might not have been Elizabeth Bathory, but it's a fucking story of Elizabeth Bathory. She cut the throats of slaves to bleed into a bath that she took to stay young. That's Elizabeth Bathory's story. It's literally why they're called baths. Yeah, just I don't know, whatever the fuck they did with Ghostbusters, stop it.
Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow is more of a hero than Captain Marvel ever was.
By the way, she was a bad guy. The term Black Widow is an assassin who seduces people, gets them alone, fucks them, and murders them. She was a Russian whore with a hidden dagger.
Yeah.
Don't fucking PC her her fucking backstory.
Right. And again, she died.
Mm-hmm.
Doing the right thing. That's a heroic act. Captain Marvel has never done a heroic act besides come in and bend the Mary Sue when literally as late as possible to make an effect. And Scarlet Witch,
yes, Stephen,
also not a good character. Not a hero.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. She has a redemption arc, though.
That may be possible, but and even if the fans like her, she's still just not a hero.
Yeah, she's definitely doing things for the wrong reasons. Most of the reason she's on the side of good is because her boyfriend's on the side of good.
Right. Now, I mean, Hawkeye's no hero either. Let's not make that mistake. The Hulk's not a hero either.
Mm-hmm. Batman's not a hero.
No, Batman's a detective.
He's the Dark Knight. He's got 23 master's degrees and under 16 pseudonyms.
Right.
Because that's what I'm going to do as a billionaire, is go back to school a fuck ton.
Well, and he just buys the degrees. Let's get real. That's all anybody does anymore.
He fakes it. He buys the degrees under pseudonyms for so he can brag about it.
Yeah, and it just. Andy's also a Shadow ripoff, but whatever. Yeah,
Shadow wasn't a hero.
No, Shadow was an anti-hero. He's a vigilante, which is not heroic. It may be desirable, it may be laudable, it may be something you want to cheer for, but it's not heroic.
However, the Phantom was a hero. The white hero of Africa. God, that was such a cheesy movie. But so was The Shadow. But damn, those were some good casts.
I need to go back and watch Dick Tracy.
That's a good cast.
I have not seen that since it came out, so that's one I need to rewatch.
You will be surprised by how good of a cast Dick Tracy is. You know, Pacino, Mandy Patinkin, Madonna, just such a good cast. No, he's a vigilante and an anti-hero.
Who?
You have to be doing good for the sake of good to be a hero. He's killing for his own gratification. He wants to kill.
Oh,
That's
crappy USA show that I didn't watch.
Dexter wasn't that HBO or something?
I don't know what it was. It doesn't matter. I didn't watch it because it's crap.
Alec Baldwin, the Shadow. Billy Zane as the Phantom. Warren Beatty as Dick Tracy. Christy Swanson as Billy Zane's love interest. Penelope Ann Miller as Shadow's love interest. I don't know, his sister as Dexter's love interest. I don't know. I hate Jennifer Carpenter. No, it was Julie Benz for a while, I believe.
I'm going to have to wrap this up at 8:30 because the kids have school in the morning.
No, okay, yeah, we'll keep going. Who was the dad in Dexter? Was that James Remar?
You're asking
Or
dude.
well, I'm asking the chat. James Remar or Ted Levin? No, Ted Levin was. I think Ted Levin was Monk, and Corbin Burnson was Psych.
Psych. Psych was a good show. Like, better than it should have been.
Oh God, Julie was so cute.
All right, so here's a question for you. Did you like
Chris.
Psych better or Scrubs better?
Oh, dude, those are so different. Scrubs.
How are they different?
First off, JD didn't walk on Turk, but Sean walked all over. Whatever the fuck Drew Hill's name is. I can't think of that.
I can't think of it.
Gus.
Yeah.
And you know, he's got his dad there. And I mean, I guess Dr. Cox is like pseudo dad, but no, there's far more campy playfulness in Scrubs that is. See, Psych is actually annoying to me. If it's supposed to be like real life and not like a campy taken too seriously kind of.
Neither one of them are anywhere near real life.
well, they're it's entirely campy in Scrubs, but the dad in Corbin Burnson's character in Psych plays not only a straight character, but a realistic character. So that kind of like fucks me with Scrubs, because like everybody else is ridiculous, you know. Julie is kind of naive and fucking adorable, cute as a button. But then Lassiter is constantly getting the wool pulled over his eyes. They're like the worst detectives ever.
Yes. Well, they kind of have to be to have a complete jackass like Sean come in and save the day.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I prefer Psych to Scrubs. I like them both. Don't get me wrong, but I like Psych a little bit more.
No, I would definitely go. I think it was Scrubs was funnier.
But
Sean just does too much stupid shit.
The theme episodes of Psych where they tie in subtle references, to, especially like throwback to the 80s stuff, is fantastic. And Scrubs never did that.
That's what I loved about Leverage. When like season 3, they had like everyone I ever loved play a villain. Except for Dean Cain. He played a good guy because you can't make a villain out of Dean Cain. But they had John Schneider play a villain. The same season they had Bill Engvall play a villain. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? If I catch in season 4 Jeff Foxworthy stealing candy from babies, I'm gonna write a letter. I will write a goddamn letter. Please don't let it be Clueless for next week. I don't know. I kind of want to. I want to hear Matt go off on the timelessness that is Paul Rudd.
Is Clueless even on the list?
Apparently, that's what they're saying. Please don't let Clueless be next week. Speaking of which, Alicia Silverstone's on TikTok, and she makes some pretty fucking hoary TikToks. Like one of her TikToks was like, I might not be hot in your age group, but I could fuck your dad.
Wow.
I'm like, Jesus Christ, Alicia Silverstone.
Well,
like,
let's
like,
get this about.
I remember
Clueless.
your beginning in Arrowstone videos, but Jesus Christ.
Let's get this the way out of Clueless. She's 17 in the movie? 16? 17?
17. She was 16 in the Aerosmith song.
Okay. So she's 17 in the Clueless movie. Paul Rudd is 24, and her stepbrother.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Gross.
Realistic, but gross. But sure. Stop lying to me, Steven. Dean Cain was a hero. That makes Superman the villain. No, he's been a villain a couple times. I don't care for him as a villain. I'm like, I'm sorry. I love you. Stop it.
We should make a really loud noise and wake Eric up.
Was that not enough? You whispering my fucking ear like that? Jesus, Deep Daddy, get away from my fucking ear with that shit.
And we just turn this into an SMR stream, lull him into a deeper sleep, and then surprise the shit out of him.
It's gonna be fuck it. What's the name of that fucking what's the public broadcasting PBS thing? God, fucking retarded.
PBS,
NPR. Just any show on NPR.
Where they talk real low like this, and then they're real calm and everything like that, and you don't ever expect them to get loud or obnoxious or anything.
Have you tried my sweaty salty balls?
The sweaty balls.
Balls.
I don't like Alec Baldwin, okay, but that's
a good one.
That's a classic.
That one, him as the den leader with Adam Sandler's Canteen Boy, which is the precursor to Waterboy. I would appreciate that, like Jessica Alba. First off, she made $1 billion with her Honest brand or whatever it's called, so she doesn't ever need to work again. But like they made a big deal out of the actor from. First off, you don't need to be special to be an actor. Like they can pull you out of 5th grade and put you in the next fucking My Girl 3 movie or whatever. I just think of that because Anna Klumsky and speaking of, there was if you were an 80s child, TikTok, where like it was going to make you cry, and I'm like, I swear to God, if it's Anna Klumsky talking to Macaulay Culkin saying he needs his glasses when he's in the casket, like I'll lose my shit. And it was something else, and I was like, it was so something else, and I was like, fuck this. you don't know my 80s. But he needs his glasses. He can't see without his glasses. But yeah, the guy from the Cosby Show, who was dating the older sister, and he was like a fuck up the entire time.
Yeah.
And Bill Cosby was holding it against him because he was dating his daughter, and he's a doctor, and he's like a manager at a Trader Joe's, and like they're blasting it for attention. I'm like, leave the fucking guy alone. He was in TV. He stopped being in TV. Now he's a fucking manager at Trader Joe's. Leave him alone. He wasn't even a particularly good actor.
Well, what's that Dwayne character doing from A Different World? He's dropped off the planet, hasn't he?
I have no idea.
All right, nobody's following his ass up.
Yeah. But like, some of them make enough money, like Brendan Fraser, he's not worth nearly as much as he was, but he's working again. Like he did Doom Squad, and he's coming back and doing more movies. But he also had a lot of injuries from stunts that he got addicted to some drugs, which is understandable during having injuries, and like getting like discs sealed together and shit. But he had weight gain. He's losing weight. He's getting back into it. That guy was a fucking hunk. Were you ever a hunk? Shut up. By the way, I was never a hunk. So.
Right, so I've got to wrap this up so I can get the kids down.
Can Rebel Wilson do Britney Spears? I fucking hope not. But I guarantee Rebel Wilson thin is not nearly as funny as Rebel Wilson fat. But all right, do you want to make a loud noise? Invite Hudson in. We can sing him happy birthday. Really loudly wake up Garrick, see if he joins us.
No, but I'm going to clap real loud in the mic, so take your earbuds out.
Yeah, thank you. Go ahead.
Okay.
Nope,
still snores.
You hurt your palms for nothing.
Apparently not.
Garrick, wake up!
He's sleeping.
Yeah, we can tell.
They all got you to wake up.
Oh, jeez.
Are you hungry?
Mostly just tired.
Oh.
How about you go sleep in your bed then, huh, buddy?
Shut up.
Good night, Garrick. Say good night to the peoples.
I got some chili already if you want some. And there is a hamburger too if you'd like one.
All right. Good night, guys.
Good night.
There is a hamburger.
Good night, everybody.
I don't want a fucking hamburger.
I kind of want a hamburger now, too. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Well, I believe in good vibrations is what creates a beautiful nation. All you need is the will.